call it a comeback. I haven't made a video in like 6 or 7 months. Since it's been a while since my last fully vocal countdown, I figured I'd return with something simple. Level design is always important when making a game. It pretty much makes up 90% other than perhaps characters, bosses, and in some cases, story. When a bad level happens, it could stain an otherwise great game. When an awesome level appears, it can make for some of your favorite moments in gaming history. So yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know. The same rules for every other countdown apply here, as well as the rule of no final levels. I'll save that for a future video possibly, unless I don't get writer's block and scrap the project with the past other videos I've tried to make. YouTube is a good side hobby.
I always like it when very unrealistic games take things found in the real world and apply it to their world, such as a city, or in the case of Coconut Mall from Mario Kart Wii and 7, well, a shopping mall. This place is just oozing with charm, from the Mii characters in the background cheering you on to just the bright and happy colors of the mall. This track sees you going through the entire mall, from up and down the escalators to taking shortcuts through shops in the mall, to even going through the parking lot and avoiding the cars in it. Just like every Mario Kart track, Coconut Mall allows for a lot of boost opportunities, from the boosters to even bouncing off the fountains in the mall. Whenever the depression and darkness of the modern world gets me down, I can always think about or play Coconut Mall to get my spirits up. A few countdowns ago, I talked about how Toy Story 3 the game is a surprisingly fun game. One of the reasons for this is the very creative level design that uses scenes and characters from the movies to their fullest potential. One great example is the Buzz Lightyear level, To Infinity and Beyond. Based on the opening scene from Toy Story 2, this level makes you feel like you're actually controlling Buzz Lightyear. It starts with an intense flying section, having you dodge meteors and rock formations. You then go on foot for another avoiding meteors section, while the rocks get larger and larger,
culminating in a really epic crash with the biggest meteor of them all. After that, the level goes much quieter as you maneuver across small and large platforms that sometimes break apart, forming tinier platforms. All the while, you have to fight robot enemies with your laser and launching yourself way into the air using geysers to get to other parts of the level. Once you enter Zurg's fortress, it's now a tricky maneuvering section as you're avoiding spiky crushers, electrical floors and walls, color platforms, and trying to blow up crystals with your lasers. Did I mention that this level is also pure eye candy? From the outside looking exactly how a faraway planet would look, to Buzz's suit reflecting off the dark environment inside Zurg's fortress. It's obvious a lot of detail went into this level. The fight with Zurg is just okay, however. Nothing special, but it's an alright end to the stage. The level of effort that went into replicating the Toy Story 2 intro is honestly astounding. And like I said, this level makes you feel like an awesome space ranger fighting evil in the outer reaches of the universe. Now, if only I could get my hands on the PS1 Toy Story 2 game so I can have some more Buzz Lightyear action. And to appease our Lord and Savior, Catted Chris.
You know what? I still really like Sonic Generations. One reason for that are the levels. The game has been criticized for not doing anything really new for the Sonic series, but personally, as someone who didn't play that many Sonic games up to the point where I first played Generations, the game introduced me to a lot of Sonic's best moments. People say that Crisis City is the best level in the game, and yeah, they're kinda right. This level was actually one of the things that introduced me to Sonic 06. When I saw that, I thought the game would be as good as the reimagining of one of the levels in Generations. Then I actually played, and I literally could not get past the first stage. So I'll probably stick with this level if I ever want to play something Sonic 06 related. The Generations version of Crisis City is all about balance. Modern Sonic has you running at top speeds, taking down ibless enemies while also going through much slower segments doing precision platforming. The shift never feels jarring though, as the amount of stuff you do in the level is carefully managed, so when you're about to get sick of the 2D modern section, it's right back to 3D. The same thing also happens with Classic Sonic. It may not have any full 3D sections, but it does have a good mix of tricking, platforming, and long speedy parts. It feels really good to nail the former. This level is also pretty intense. With the scenery of a big city destroyed and covered in lava, the stage is pretty grim for a silly Sonic game. And each level ends with an inferno storm brewing that's not only beautiful to look at, but also very exciting to play through. If I ever decide to get fully back into the Sonic series, it's going to be hard to top this level. And this is coming from someone who doesn't really care for fire/lava levels, so that's saying something. You know what type of level I do care for, water levels. That may sound weird considering water levels are usually hated in the gaming landscape, but from all the games I have played that featured these types of levels, most of them didn't really bother me that much. Keyword being most. So what if I told you not only a water level is on this list, but one that is also a stealth level? Sounds crazy, right? Well, don't worry, because 20,000 Lums Under the Sea from Rayman Legends is a stellar level. The first thing to notice with this level is that it's just oozing with style. Since it's a stealth level, you can expect a lot of sneaky music in the background, as well as a lot of darkness. It reminds me a lot of something like Sly Cooper or even James Bond. We'll get to you soon, my precious, don't worry. The main gimmick of this level is that there are these lights that you need to avoid or else they'll zap you and damage you. Because this is also a water level, that may seem like it could be a bad thing, but the water controls for every character are smooth and well designed enough for that not to be an issue. Each avoidance of stuff like lasers and spotlights takes well-timed runs or jumps, making this level more of a test of skill than a test of patience. The Murray stages also do this very well, adding platforms you have to make him press to appear. My favorite sections of this level are the mansion stage for its non-linearity and interesting platforming and swimming sections, and the music stage at the end because of its fun parody of Woohoo by the 5, 6, 7, 8 and how fun and fast-paced the stage is. Even though it's pretty much every water level, even ones from previous games, 20,000 Lums Under the Sea adds fun stealth elements that makes it unique and my favorite level in Rayman Legends. Ago, I got my hands on a true gem of a game, A Hat in Time. From its cute characters to its beautiful music and graphics, A Hat in Time is a dream come true for 3D platformer fans. One of the most interesting things about A Hat in Time is the level design. Kinda right. It starts out like any normal 3D collectathon platformer, but then it goes into places like survival horror to even fighting game-like mechanics. My favorite adventure into the unknown in this game is when it decides to get into open world territory. And it is glorious. Alpine Skyline follows you traversing through several mini-levels within a large mountain range inhabited by goats. This level deals with horns that you need to find to blow to make ways for you to get to other parts of the level. The levels, in the order I played them at least, are as follows. The birdhouse sees you going through, well, a giant birdhouse, having you jumping across and through nests and barns and avoiding bird-related enemies like walking exploding eggs. The lava cake has you climbing up a giant lava tower, making death-defying leaps on rising and falling platforms to avoid being cooked by the lava below you while also avoiding burning enemies. The windmill is a really tricky platforming escapade as you climb to the top of it. Finally, the Twilight Bell is a truly trippy one as you keep using the Dweller's Mask to open up places and platforms to get to the end of the stage, which has a few puzzle elements to the level. The end mission of the level sees you fighting plants that have infected the mountain range, dodging the attacks they throw at you. With lots of other smaller areas and towns to visit and all the fun characters in them, this is one of the most open and pleasant places I've ever played through. You know, until we get to the toxic hellscape at the end of the level and everything turns to shit. Professor Layton in The Miracle Mask is one of my favorite visual novels. As someone who has a love-hate relationship with the Layton series, this was the game that made me truly respect what games like these could do. The game also did a lot of new and interesting things, like have 3D character models and cutscenes, horseback riding minigames, as well as a dungeon crawler level? Okay. The Ruins of Akbadine sees Layton and his friend Randall exploring a lost city of the forgotten Azran race known as Akbadine. When you actually start exploring the ruins, you do it through a top-down perspective, sort of like a 2D Zelda game. It may look like an incredibly jarring shift in gameplay, but the controls and actual mechanics on the level are simple, yet complex enough for it not to be too jarring. The ruins are set up into multiple levels, and each have squares where you can dig for stuff like hint coins or to help solve the chamber's puzzle. As you go deeper, you come across robot mummy enemies that you need to avoid using more puzzles that also involve moving across squares. The place also has normal puzzles for you to solve, so like I said, it's not a big shift in normal gameplay. This level goes on for a while, but it always gives you the sense of adventure, like you're exploring a big, long, forgotten world. It's also pretty emotional at some points, with the friendship between Herschel and Randall growing and deteriorating, ending in the pretty feelsy supposed death of Randall. And then he shows up later in the game, and he's kinda black now. Anime is weird. Third cases in Ace Attorney games are definitely a mixed bag. Some are really good, like Turnabout Academy from Dual Destinies and the Kidnap Turnabout from Investigations 1. And then you have forgettable ones like Turnabout Samurai from the first game, and also there's Recipe for Turnabout from Trials and Tribulations is a very polarizing case for some Ace Attorney fans, but in my humble onion, this case does a lot well for basically just a filler case. This case sees you defending Maggie Bird, making her return from the first case of Justice for All. She's on trial for supposedly poisoning someone at the French restaurant Très Bien. Before the case even begins, though, we're hit with a huge bombshell. Maggie has been found guilty of the crime, and her lawyer is Phoenix. So not only do you have to clear Maggie's name, but you also have to figure out why you were there at the trial when you weren't there. As you investigate the restaurant and the areas around it, you come across some truly interesting characters. From the "I'm not sure if this is politically correct nowadays" restaurant owner Gene Armstrong, to the perverted old man Victor Kudo, to the sentient AI-like lady Lisa Basil. Even the villain of this case is really memorable, Furio Tigre. It's obvious that he's the Phoenix imposter, I mean just look at him, but his loud personality and gangster vocabulary make him a sight to behold. In a game as serious as Trials and Tribulations, the pure hilarity of this case is a great refresher for what Ace Attorney can do in terms of comedy. Pure comedy continues into moments where Maya, dressed up like a Très Bien waitress, having to channel Mia to get the attention of Victor Kudo, to just cross-examining Furio Tigre. If you ever need a good laugh, this case is good for that. And if for some reason you're just too elated by Recipe for Turnabout, you can always just continue playing the next two cases in the game and emotionally destroy yourself. I've talked about Sand Mountain from Battle for Bikini Bottom a lot of times, and by that I mean like 2 times. So for those who don't know, Sand Mountain is a level based on the mountain constantly seen in the show.
It's 9/11-2!
In this level, the main goal is to help get the robots off the slopes so that Squidward can enjoy a nice day relaxing in the snow, or sand, or a snow-sand combo. Woo! Before Sand Mountain, Battle for Bikini Bottom already had a bunch of sliding sections, but this is the only level in the game that solely focuses on it. It's really fun to zoom around at top speeds while also doing tight platforming, trying to find shortcuts and secret passages, and completing time trials set up by Mrs. Puff, Bubble Buddy, and Larry the Lobster. There's not a whole lot of stuff to do in the main hub, and all of it is really easy, but it's a relaxing break away from the insanity of the sliding parts. And yeah, that's mostly it. Sand Mountain is a level that I had lots of fun with when I first started playing Battle for Bikini Bottom, and even still, I go back to it occasionally when I want some good fast levels, even though I've 100%ed it multiple times. I mean, I could just play a racing game or even a Sonic game if I want some speed in my gaming, but I think I'll always prefer Sand Mountain and other sliding sections in this game. Hey, you know, I really like winter levels, probably because it's summer and some form of the cold would be great right now, but winter's cold and quiet atmosphere makes for some very interesting levels. A great example of this is He Who Tames the Iron Horse from Sly Cooper 2. This level involves the Cooper gang trying to steal from Claw Gang member number 4, John Bisson, in Canada. Bisson has 3 clockwork parts you need to steal, and he uses them to power his Iron Horse series of trains going across North America. Right off the bat, this level atmosphere is just perfect. It's set in the frozen north, and the grey and white presentation mixed with the rustic and acoustic music makes it a good fit for the Canadian wilderness. The actual missions you play in this level are pretty good too. The first has you sneaking around cabins located around the map collecting blueprints for the trains, another has you blowing up the entrances to the cabooses by skydiving on them, another has you following Carmelita to the place where she's captured Murray, and one has you getting baby grizzly bears to a cage so that their mother can free them. All of these jobs are good, but they don't compare to the ones set on the Iron Horse trains. The basic level design is the same because you know they're trains, but they throw very many interesting curveballs like avoiding laser grids and guards, RC helicopter sections with Bentley, going over and under the train, and even a mini-boss against Neela in her jet. This level shows that thieving can happen anywhere in the world, and the snowy wilderness makes me very nostalgic for the winter and the cold north. Guys, please don't dox me, Kate, thanks. Picking my favorite Uncharted level was tough as there are just so many good ones out there, even in games that aren't as remembered as fondly as the others like Drake's Fortune and Golden Abyss. My pick for my favorite Uncharted level and my favorite video game level is definitely a weird one, as it comes from The Lost Legacy. Yeah, a game that was originally supposed to be DLC and is way shorter compared to other Uncharted games, has a level in it so good it trumps moments like Locomotion from Among Thieves and Sink or Swim from Drake's Deception. That's because the Western Ghats is freaking awesome. The plot of The Lost Legacy has Chloe Fraser from Uncharted 2 and 3 and Nadine Ross, who was introduced in A Thief's End, scouting across India to find the legendary Tusk of Ganesh. Their travels take them to a deep jungle part of India surrounded by 3 fortresses, representing things from Hindu mythology. The area surrounding each fortress is really huge, leading for a lot of exploration. Thief's End tried to do something like this with the 12 Towers chapter, but it was nothing to this extent. It's almost like a mini open-world game within the actual game. Each fortress you visit involves you either having to fight or sneak past guards and perform climbing or platforming challenges, some involving puzzles. Speaking of puzzles, each fortress you visit has a sliding puzzle that you need to solve. It may seem simple, but they actually throw a lot of curveballs at you, like having some parts of the symbol move at the same time as other parts, so you gotta line them up just right. But this sounds a lot like a basic Uncharted affair, so what makes the Western Ghats special? Well, like I said, this level is huge, giving you a lot of free space to explore and to find secrets. The best secret in this level is the fact that there's an actual side quest in it. You can get these tokens across the map by completing a short objective like a puzzle, a timed objective, or looking around the area you're in. Getting all tokens grants you the Queen's Ruby, which resonates near treasures, helping you find them more easily, and this is way more helpful than you think it is. However, it wouldn't be a true Uncharted game if the characters in it weren't witty and well written, and this level definitely has that, as you learn a lot about both Chloe and Nadine's past, how they work with each other, and even their history with the Drake brothers. It's just a real shame that the rest of the game isn't like this level. Not that the rest of the game's bad, far from it, it's just that the game peaked way too early with the Western Ghats in my opinion. I wouldn't honestly mind seeing an Uncharted game made in the style of this level. Unfortunately, with recent gaming trends, Naughty Dog will probably turn it into a Battle Royale type of game, so that's probably not a good idea.